Hey, what's up guys? John here. Breaking news out of Canada. Banking transactions down for many. Internet connection down. 911 calls, government services all down. Take a look at this. And update, Canada remains in the midst of a major internet and telecommunications outage 12 hours after the disruption of Rogers network. National connectivity at 75% of ordinary levels, high impact of banking and debit card transactions, government services impacted. It's perfectly 25%. It's interesting, perfectly 25%. Rogers network outage disrupts Canada's internet access and bank transactions, Wall Street Journal. Rogers Communication is working to restore service to its millions of customers. Rogers network outage hits millions of Canadians, drawing outrage. Toronto, Ottawa, a major network outage at one of Canada's biggest telecom operations shut banking, transport, government access for millions all day on Friday, drawing outrage from customers and adding to criticism over Rogers telecommunications industry's dominance. Nearly every facet of life has been disrupted with the outage, affecting internet access, cell phone connections, landline phone connections. Some callers could not reach emergency services via 911 calls. Getting crazy. Canadians who work from home crowded into the cafes and public libraries that still had internet access and hovered outside of hotels to catch a signal, right? Okay, right here. This is The Guardian. Massive network outage in Canada hits homes, ATMs, and 911 emergency lines. A major outage of mobile and internet networks caused widespread disruptions across Canada on Friday, affecting banks, police, emergency lines, and customers in the second outage to hit one of the country's biggest telecom providers in 15 months. Customers gathered at coffee shops and public libraries to access alternate networks, while financial institutions reported problems with everything from automated machines to cashless payment systems. This is something we can all learn from. We live in a society now where we get hit with one massive story after the next every single day. Every hour, a breaking story comes out. And what does this do? It instills short-term memory. It's too hard to keep up and remember everything that's going on. But one thing we all have to stay clear of and really focus on is that if you don't hold it, you don't own it, you don't really control it, right? Same with precious metals. If you buy precious metals and someone else holds it for you, you don't own it, they essentially own it. Same with your money. When your money is all at a bank and you have none at your house, you really take the risk. I'm not saying that you should have all of your money at home. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is you should have some spending cash. You should put yourself in a position to where if you need to go to the store, if you need to last a week or two, you can, right? There's so many people in Canada right now that simply only use credit cards. For me, I use credit cards in 99% of the transactions, right? I'm always using a credit card and I rarely use cash, but still have some cash. And I think it's important that we have some cash. And I think this is actually a really valuable lesson for precious metals. Gold and silver, sure, gold has been hit pretty hard recently, but the facts are that if you can take custodial ownership of it and it's been a store of value for 5,000 plus years, odds are it's probably going to last longer than a lot of these fiat currencies we carry around, right? Rogers Communications said its technical teams were working to restore services as quickly as possible. The outage is likely to add to concerns about competition in the industry that's dominated by Rogers. The company, which has about 10 million wireless subscribers and 2.25 million retail internet subscribers, is the leading service provider in Ottawa, and along with BCE and TELUS, controls 90% share in Canada. Earlier this year, Canada's Competition Bureau blocked Rogers' attempt to take over rival Shaw Communications in a $20 billion deal, saying it would hamper competition in a country where telecom rates are some of the highest in the world. Today's outages illustrates the need for more independent competition that will drive more network investment, so outages are far less likely, right? Managing director of Global Live, an investment firm that had bid for a wireless provider involved in the Rogers Shaw deal, Down Dector, which tracks outages by collecting status reports from a number of sources, showed reports of outages starting at 4:30 in the morning Eastern time, topping it off at about 20,000 users by 7 a.m., right? The report dropped down to about 8,000 users by 11:30 a.m. The nationwide outage resulted in some callers facing difficulty reaching emergency services via 911 calls. Police across Canada said including Ottawa and Toronto, its largest city, Interac, which operates an email money transfer service used by several Canadian banks, said the outage was affecting its services. Toronto Dominion Bank said it was facing system issues with Interac e-transfer services. Bank of Montreal said the outage was affecting financial institutions, toll-free numbers, as well as transactions, while Royal Bank of Canada said its ATM and online banking services were affected. Canada's prime industry minister said his team had been in contact with the company. We expressed how important it is that the matter to be resolved as soon as possible and for companies to provide prompt and clear communication directly to those impacted. It was a second major outage for Rogers in a little more than a year. In April last year, thousands of customers reported intermittent interruptions to wireless voice and data services for several hours before the company was able to restore full operations to its network. That being said, today's video is sponsored by thesolutionevent.com. They believe that we are going to be stepping into very uncertain times and that this is the time to have community, food, and shelter. For more information, visit thesolutionevent.com for a free event that's going to be held very soon in Ottawa, downtown core. On Friday, cafes including Tim Hortons were not accepting debit and credit cards and turning away customers who did not have cash. Tim Horton did not immediately respond for requests to comment on the impact of the business. Toronto's residents crowded into and around a Midtown Starbucks and a coffee shop offering free Wi-Fi on networks unaffected by the outage. There's tons of people here with their laptops just working away ferociously, the same as they would at home because they have no service at home. You know, interestingly, if we all remember this event, right? This event came out, they've been doing this for a couple of years, preparing, saying the internet, everything is very fragile, saying that we could be stepping into a really big problem, right? Now it's on digital resilience, right? This is what they want, digital resilience, but we all know what that means, right? All solutions, right? And here we look at what's happening right now. This is their website, and we see, you know, the man of the hour. Everyone knows who he is. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we're going to be stepping into a situation in which we see more and more and more of these problems? And if we do, and if we are stepping into that situation, what is the best plan of action? Am I saying this is definitely going to happen? No, but I am saying if we look at history and we look at a lot of the things that have been predicted and a lot of the things that have occurred over the last, 6 months, year, 2 years, 3 years, we can really connect the dots and see very clearly. I think we are stepping into uncertain times. There's no doubt about it. I think smart and savvy investors will always do relatively well. And I think that we're going to start to really see who really is prepared, who really is in a position to where they can, sustain themselves in these troubling times. A lot of people, I think, are just hoping that this isn't real. This isn't just this is just a fluke situation. But if you look at some of the smartest, most powerful people in the world, and they're all predicting potential problems, I think it's worth paying attention to it. I think it's worth connecting the dots on it, and I think it's worth building out plans and strategies around it. What do you think about this entire situation? Where do you see this whole situation going over the next year or so? 6 months, a year? We're stepping into a pretty crazy world where we have record high inflation, record high gas prices, more uncertainty around the world. We have more tension around the world. We have a lot more problems than we've ever had, all happening at one time. It's interesting, it's fascinating, it's a hell of a time to be alive, an exciting time to be alive. It's definitely a time in which you want to be prepared for. With that being said, today's video is sponsored by thesolutionevent.com. Thesolutionevent.com, they're holding an event very, very soon. It's worth going over there, taking a look at it, seeing if it's for you. And they are based around community, food, shelter, and preparing for crazy situations like this. So if that's something of interest, check it out, thesolutionevent.com. Subscribe here. Also consider subscribing on my second channel. It's going to be an interactive call-in show. Starting this upcoming week. I was planning on doing it about a week or so ago, but things have just been, taking a little bit longer than expected. I've had to order equipment and build out a team around it. It's a little bit more. It was a little bit more entailed than I was anticipating, but we're going to get it done. We are getting it done. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be worth the wait. So be sure to go over there and subscribe. It's a top comment down below pinned. Simply click the link and subscribe if you'd like. Also, LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, they're up in the banner. Drop your comments below, though. Let's have a conversation about this. Where do you see it going the next 6 months? Let's say December of 2022. Let's talk about it. Catch you guys in the next video.